going to be a national headline. This is unbelievable. So that water is all the way in the tunnel. Look at the traffic. Why are there people still going? Jeez. You know what? I know exactly what we're going to do here. We're just going to take this and... Yep. There we go. See? We warned you. We warned you with this sign. You didn't pay attention. Well, hello and welcome back to another Cities with John episode. I am thrilled to have you along for the ride today as we are continuing on downtown. This is Downtown episode 4 and I'm really excited about this one. We are continuing on into the downtown, the heart of downtown with this new section that I just put a region up for. It named it Robin Park, so we're going to go with that. First thing we're going to do, however, is get rid of this one building that I threw in here just to kind of get a scale size many moons ago, many episodes ago. Let's kind of do a time lapse and let this pollution go through here. Speed up the game a tad. Alright, pollution. Go away anytime you want to now. Oh, man. This is taking forever. Okay, well, we'll move on. The way that I'm kind of doing these buildings, what I'm kind of wanting to do with this section is I'm trying to put in these buildings that are going to be very similar in looks, but instead of just plopping down the same building, I'm going to actually take these buildings, which the first part of this is actually 2 buildings combined. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to use Move It, copy and paste, and attach these buildings into gigantic housing units. So these buildings are going to be connected. It's going to at least appear connected. And this is a really cool way, and a lot of creators do this, but it's a really easy way to get buildings to look a little bit larger in scale and kind of give them a more distinct look. If you look at Google Maps or different things like that of some big, highly populated downtown areas with these bigger housing units, you can really see kind of what I'm going for here. And we just threw in a few more connection roads in between to make the blocks a little bit easier to see, but you can just see how this just really, and here just taking all these and just making one gigantic square buildings, and you can really jam in a lot of units all together using Move It and just kind of copying and pasting. I think they look really good this way, and doesn't mean that you can't switch it up and maybe have some different buildings, but this is kind of the look I kind of want to go for here, and that's what we're doing. Now, one thing I will warn you about this is when you combine the buildings, sometimes there's a couple of issues that could arise. One thing is if the buildings have built-in props and things that you don't necessarily want to be a part of it. So for example, if you've got, especially like with commercial buildings, if you have some of those weird props like the gigantic clown head or the ice cream cone, those can start to look a little strange, not all that great. Also, like parking spots cannot always align and work exactly the way you want them to work, but for the most part, you can use prop it up to get rid of the props. The parking's a little bit more difficult to deal with, but as long as you are being smart about it and you can still make it work, which these buildings do have parking lots attached to them, and they're going to have cars parking out in front of them, but the way I have this set up, you'll see it should work out just perfectly. They're just going to look like they're parking up on the curb or whatever, which is fine because this part of town, people might not really care too much about where they park, so they're just going to park wherever they want. The second big factor with those buildings are it's hard for emergency personnel, garbage, police, all that kind of stuff to reach, because sometimes the buildings are not exactly attached to a road. They might be close to the road, but they actually do not have access to, or excuse me, the roads do not have access to them, and therefore you can kind of run into some issues, but we'll see how that works out. Here I've got a new parking lot road that has, you actually put the planters in, and it has parking spots there on the side with the planters, as you can see, and those look fantastic. Lots of possibilities that you can do with these new parking lot roads that I got. Just kind of breaking it up and using something a little bit different in this portion of town. On the other side of that canal is the lower canals, and that was the first part of downtown. And this is the second part, Robin Park. So this is going to be a area that is heavily populated, closer to downtown. We're getting closer to the heart of downtown, but this isn't going to be the nicest place to live. It's not going to be the most sought after place. It's kind of inconveniently located. It's away from the interstate, away from the freeway. Still pretty easy access to the heart of downtown, but not the best place to get on the road, and these people are going to prefer to use the trams, use public transportation, and get around that way. And wait a minute, we're about to hit a major milestone here, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness, we are almost to 50,000. Come on, almost there. Okay, well, enough of that. So now that we've got those buildings laid down, we're going to, first off, I need to put some more fencing in next to this canal. Right now it's just kind of a drop off there. For whatever reason, I guess the way the canal is with the fence, with the large retaining wall, it's not allowing me to put fences down, so I have to kind of build the fence and then move the nodes over, which I've already done on this left side. Now I'm connecting the right side just like that, and we have this little ambulance station in place, so everything's good to go. Now let's see, we want to add a little commercial in right along here. I think it will look good underneath this road. Let's just put in, we have these generic commercial buildings. I've not used these since, I believe it was my industrial episode, maybe episode 2, episode 3, over on the other side of the map. So we will place these. These are neat little buildings that are completely customizable, don't have any sort of signage or anything on them. They are ready to be used however you want to use them. So let's add some signs and get these things whipped into shape here. Da, 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 da. Alright, so we got our signage hooked up here, and now what we are going to do is put in a famous barbecue place courtesy of King Leno, Tops Barbecue, right here underneath the overpass. What a great location. Man, barbecue sounds amazing right now. I kind of miss back home barbecue. Whoa, this road is way too low. That tram is major clipping going on. Let's raise this up just a tad. Might have to do some fixing along the way here. That's definitely tall enough now. It's not too bad of an incline. Let's bring that down just a hair. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Let's see. There, yeah. Plenty of clearance. Plenty of clearance for the tram there. Okie dokie. Well, let's just add a little detailing in between these buildings. So, the heart of downtown is, I'm looking forward to building down that way. And the tram and public transportation and all that in this area has been heavily used and is getting bigger and bigger. And things are really starting to come together for the downtown. And I'm really enjoying, I haven't made a downtown in quite a while, so I'm really enjoying using the assets and different things to make this downtown. It's been fun so far. And, you know, I learn a little bit something new every day and try to do something a little bit different. I try not to copy other creators. I obviously watch a lot of YouTube City Skylines channel, and I love all the big names out there and enjoy all those channels, but I like to also kind of do my own thing on certain things and just experiment here or there. Sometimes those experiments don't work and I do not even show them on video. And sometimes they turn out really well. And for these buildings, for example, this isn't anything new, but I think they look fantastic combining them the way that I have combined them. So I think that looks really good. So we're going to bring a road right back over here because I want to add in some garbage collecting. We have some garbage issues arising already, and I think that's mostly because we have buildings that just cannot be reached. Now these little dumpster areas actually might turn out to be just perfect. Right next, we got some glitchy roads and glitchy sidewalks over there. We can add those little garbage depots right next to people's houses and stuff, right next to the apartment buildings. But we need another larger. There, that should work. Not the prettiest looking building, but we'll just go with it for now. As you can see, the garbage is really starting to pile up. I think that's because people cannot, it's possible they cannot be reached where they are. So that's a bummer. We're gonna have to kind of figure out how to take care of that situation. Let's get in this little corner here and kind of mix it up a bit. I've got some other, these are really cool looking buildings too. That one's not going to cooperate. Let's just move that over, move that over, move that over. And here we go. That's good. And I've got some little taller corner buildings. Yeah, those will work just perfectly. Work out just perfectly. We can just turn this. You see those parking lots that are in the back. So, you know, those are the things that you have to kind of account for. So you either have to connect a road to that, or you're going to have to find a way for cars to not just drive into the grass to get to their parking spots. So let's just add, what we'll do is we'll just bring in a few little small concrete roads, just these real simple ones here. These are just kind of like the vanilla ones. That way when a car drives up on it, at least it'll take this route, hopefully, instead of just driving right across the map and looking ridiculous. They'll do that anyway. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Who am I kidding? Of course they're gonna drive across the map. So yeah, that looks pretty good. And what we'll do here, we've got a little piece of land. Let's just throw down, let's put a road here in the middle. And what we can do is we can surround this with some more large housing centers. And let's see, we'll connect it over here. Yeah, no, actually, you know what? Yeah, that'll work. And then we'll pull this right over here. And we'll be back in a second. Okay, so we've got all those additional buildings set up, and also I kind of time-lapsed through adding some roads to get those garbage trucks and emergency personnel a little bit closer to those buildings, and that has helped tremendously. Now they can get in there a little bit closer and pick up the trash. And here we're kind of ordering. Here we are kind of setting up, I don't know where ordering came from, setting up a little commercial district right next to all these buildings, all the residential area. I've been kind of playing around with some different mods. I downloaded Tides mod, which allows you to set the tide level of the ocean. So the ocean starts, actually the sea level rises and falls, and the combination of that with some ocean wave decals, it looks tremendous. I'm probably going to save showing that off until maybe Downtown episode 5, because it's really worth its own show. It's a pretty cool mod. It looks fantastic, and it just kind of sets some waves up and stuff and makes the ocean look a lot more realistic. And also I finally turned off those darn seagulls. Oh my gosh, they were driving me crazy. I had to put an end to them. I mean, I liked them when I liked them, and I hated them when I hated them, and I mostly didn't like them. There was just too many of them. There's too many of them. They look good next to the ocean, but not so much in the heart of downtown. Well, it's really looking good, coming together really quickly, and you know, this didn't take as long to throw down as you would think. So we're going to do some fine detailing on this section, and also probably add a small distribution center next to the interstate, maybe some other buildings and details. So stick around, check it out, and we will be back. Why is Has to do with tides. Why is the water out of the canal? Oh my god. Destroyed. Well, that's not flooding, but why do I have destroyed buildings over there? Oh my gosh, no, it is flooding. Oh! The planetarium! It's underwater! Oh. Oh my. Are you freaking kidding me? What the? Look at the road! Oh my gosh, the water is just in the road. It's become a river. Oh, I've got to change to level to original. Reset range. We'll turn down this range. How did this... I don't get it. This had to have something to do with the tides, obviously. Oh my gosh. Look at that. Oh, no! No! Oh. Wow. The canals are not doing what they're supposed to do. Oh my gosh. Look at this. It's creeping in over here. It's over here too. Look how far up it is. It's almost to the freaking train station. It made the stairs float. Here it comes again. What is going on here? I've got to figure out this. I probably should have tried this out, or I probably should have watched Bon Bon B's tutorial. Oh, planetarium's starting to dry up. No! Suburb's getting flooded. Gosh. The port area is screwed. This area is fine. I don't get it. Just turn off the empty in there. There's water underneath that interchange. Oh, yeah, that's good for the environment. Flood the nuclear power plant. Oh my gosh. Look at all the buildings that are destroyed. I've got building abandonment turned off, but it's still destroying a lot of these buildings. Look at this. The tunnel is completely flooded and there's cars just sitting in there. Oh my gosh. This is going to be a national headline. This is unbelievable. So that water is all the way in the tunnel. Look at the traffic. Why are there people still going? Jeez. You know what? I know exactly what we're going to do here. We're just going to take this and... Yep. There we go. See? We warned you. We warned you with this sign. You didn't pay attention. Okay, so back to our regular program. So here I'm using Traffic Manager to turn on these intersections where the trams will go through, because they are being very hesitant. That's what the little green circle is. That'll tell them to go through. I also went ahead and set up some stop signs, yield signs, and things of that nature. So now we should be all good with this. Okay, so here I have set up a FedEx distribution center, and I have set this up nicely next to the interstate. Probably the next episode we are going to kind of head over in this direction and finish off this corner. I'm kind of slowly making my way to the heart of downtown, because I do want to kind of sit back and analyze how I've got my road set up. And I also want to play around with the Metro Overhaul mod. I keep talking about playing around with that, but I really am going to play around with it this time, I promise. Might not video it, but I'm going to play around with it. So once I do that, I'll figure out if my roads are going to stay exactly where they're at, because I might have to add some major bridges and major overpasses before I start really putting the buildings in. Last thing you want to do is set up some really nice looking buildings and things like that, only to have to take them down, and that wouldn't be good. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I enjoyed it, minus the fact that half of my city was almost destroyed by a major flood, thanks to the Tides mod that I apparently shouldn't have used and didn't know anything about. Yeah, the waters receded. Everybody's happy. Everybody's still alive, I think. The trams are moving and people are going to work and all that good stuff. So, well, thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Cities with John. If you did enjoy it, I encourage you to hit that like button. Subscribe to my channel for more content. Hopefully there won't be any more content where my city is flooding, but I had to include that. It was pretty wild. And hey, how'd this make it in here? Get that off there. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Well, we'll see you next time. Downtown episode 4 is in the books. This has been Cities with John. I'm Cities Harper, and I appreciate you watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.